All right. Can everybody hear me? Do we have audio now? Okay. I don't know what's going on with my system, but every time I use the system all day, every day, and then I go to log into StreamYard, and then it like bricks all my peripherals brick. So then I had to force a reboot, and then everything rebooted really weird. I don't know. We've got some bugs that showed up last week, but then completely disappeared. Now they showed up again at the exact same time. So we have a repeating issue that needs to be worked on. So many apologies. I'm Kurt Wuckert Jr. This is the CoinGeek Weekly Livestream. Am I frozen on screen now? Now I look like I'm frozen. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I'm doing my best, everybody. But there's some stuff that needs to get worked out, apparently. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert bell, so you can join us every day at 2 minutes and 6 or 2 o'clock and 6 minutes or whatever. But yeah, I have failed you, and I'm sorry, everybody. Technical difficulties aside, did I say daily? Okay. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can wait around for 5 minutes while we have technical difficulties, and Alex sends me messages on WhatsApp, and the people out in my green room, I can hear them all say, why isn't he on? Is he okay? And did Kurt just have a heart attack in the office? So it's a lot of drama here. So my adrenaline is up to here, and we're going to bring it down a little bit. And we'll get to Daniel Krawisz, who deserves probably at least the whole hour here for the show. But we have an ad first. So let's cut to the ad. We'll come back with Daniel, who's going to be talking about all the cool stuff that you can do with proof of work, which... Hello, Daniel.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
No, for sure. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your patience. How you been, man?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm quite well. It's good to talk to you. We've done a little bit of DMing, but we haven't actually spoken in probably a year now, man. What's new? I think you've changed countries and some other things, if I recall.
Yes, I am in a new location. We will. Well, we'll just say it's a different place now. Yeah, I moved.
Perfect.
And yeah, I'm doing a lot better. I'm married now, and this picture that you see in the background was made by my wife. So
I like it. My wife is also an artist, and I get to be adorned with similar. Let's say it's beautiful. The colors are great. The deer's great. Big fan.
It says sacrifice is the foundation stone of what is to come, and that's from Carl Jung.
Nice. Love the Jung quotes. Very cool, man. And you've also been working on a whole bunch of cool stuff with, frankly, a whole bunch of cool people. So some of my favorite people in Bitcoin have seemed to have coalesced a bit to help you flesh out some of the stuff about Boost and basically using proof of work in a lot of the ways that you have talked about for many years. Can you walk us through, in a basic sense, can you give us like the high level, what are you working on? And then I think we're going to try to do walk through a demo and some other stuff.
Yes, that'll be great. To me, it all goes back to the value of Bitcoin, which I would say the value of Bitcoin is just the value of money, which is a theory from Austrian economics, which is the version of economics that I subscribe to. And Bitcoin is a kind of money that is just a lot better than what we've had before. And I would say the short version of the Austrian theory of money is that the value of money is the other people. So if you want to improve the value of Bitcoin, you have to improve the other people. And hence there is a need for people in this economy to be able to talk to each other and to understand each other. And of course, you need that in any economy, because if you want to make money, you have to figure out what people want so that you can give it to them. But we need that. It's more worthwhile in Bitcoin to do that. So we've had a problem with improving the value of Bitcoin, which is that whenever I try to talk about what I think is valuable, someone who's really stupid and who has really dumb ideas is a lot louder and tells everybody to do something really bad. And so what we can do with the system that I'm developing, which is the Boost POW protocol, is we can make the bad ideas so that they're all really quiet, and we can make the good ideas really loud. So right now, the problem we have is the bad ideas are really loud and the good ideas are quiet. So we want to turn that around to make sure all the good ideas are loud. And the theory that is behind what I'm doing can be understood from two biologists. They are Richard Dawkins and Amatz Zahavi. And Zahavi is the one who came up with the handicap principle, which says that the only honest signal of fitness is provable waste, which is what a handicap is. So if you think about the antlers or the peacock's tail, those are things that inhibit the animal from doing what it needs to do to survive. And that's what makes them honest signals of fitness, is that they wouldn't be able to have those handicaps if they weren't fit. And that's why the other animals find it worthwhile to rely on them to figure out who's fit. And that's why they are a stable strategy in nature. So what Richard Dawkins said is, he said that ideas are alive. And he came up with the word meme, which really just means idea, to sound like the word gene, to create this connotation that the idea is alive.
Yep. So
the problem we have today, or since the dawn of history, I would say, is that it's the same problem that the peacocks would have if they didn't grow the tail. And that problem is the female can't figure out fast enough who is the best male. Mm-hmm. So what we can do is we add a costly signal to the idea. Then the idea is like the peacock with the beautiful tail, and it's easy for the female, which is the brain, to tell which idea is the best.
Yep.
And proof of work or handicaps they're not good for figuring out who is the absolute best. They are good for rejecting everybody who's not good down to a reasonable level. So sure. the female's problem is that she doesn't have time to evaluate all of the males. So she has to efficiently eliminate as many as she can first. And then the rest, she can look at them more carefully. So that's what we do with proof of work with ideas. So we reject all the ideas down to a reasonable number, and then we evaluate what's left over. So that's how we find the good idea.
That's a really good. So I've always been on base with what you've said. In fact, even for years before I ever met you, some of your old videos and your old writings that inspired me to understand both proof of work and Bitcoin itself, and actually even money itself as ways to measure value and some of these other things. But I like that. I actually like the fact that it is an imperfect or an imperfection or an imperfect final result where like the proof of work ends, but you still actually have to do your own personal sorting. You know, maybe you get rid of the first 10,000, but you actually have to vet 5 or something like that, right? So,
exactly.
yeah, no, that's great. And I don't know that I don't know. I'm sure you've said it before, but I don't know that I've ever heard you say it before. And so that's really good, because I always worry when people talk about a protocol and that the protocol should solve everything. So I love the fact that there is okay, the protocol has solved, 99.99+% of the problem, and then a human needs to come in and actually make a real decision. So that's really good. Can you drill into some of the specifics? So I Boost, for example, but there's Powco. I've seen Ask Bitcoin. I've seen a few of these other things. I get Raf whispering in my ear a little bit occasionally, and then we get some of the other people that have been looking at what you're doing and saying, hey, this is really starting to shape up and turn into something cool here. And I agree. I've done a little bit of my own tinkering here, and I'm liking what I'm starting to see. So is there a hierarchy of how you want people to experience what you've created? Now that it seems like there's a few things, how should somebody start, and what's a good spot to start to make some progress on using these tools?
Well, I think the best thing is to go to pow.co, and that will lead you into some of the other websites. So, Pow.co is a company that I helped found, and yeah, Raphael is one of the other founders, and he's probably the biggest reason that people are talking about what I'm doing now, and so I mean, I think that I think what you should do is just put all of the ideas in a big competition. So that's what happens at Powco. But you might also want to look at things in a particular context. So we have tags, and so you can tag something, and then you can look at top boosted content for a particular tag. And then we also have some different websites that have specific formats. But I would say that these other websites exist for the main purpose of them is just to kind of explain to people what you can do with proof of work. And really the best site is the one that just puts everything in a big list so that you just get everything.
Yeah.
Well, you should just start going to the website, and I'll just explain it as things come up. And
should I screen share it? Should we try to?
Yeah.
Maybe. Hey, Alex, do you have a RelayX wallet? I feel like you probably do. Do you think it's logged in on your computer? Maybe we could walk Alex through it, because I'm a little nervous about my system with that reboot that I'm going to screw this up. 2 minutes?
Hey.
All right, we're going to give Alex 2 minutes here to see if we can do this. If not, let me know, Alex, because I was set up to do this, but now all of my stuff is logged out, and I don't want to have people sit and watch me log in for another 3-minute problem here. Here's an overarching question for you, Daniel, and this is something that I have really, really fought with for a lot of years now. Is I thought Bitcoin was so obvious that when altcoins came out, I thought they were funny, and like, by all means, do a little proof of concept, learn some Bitcoin by playing with Litecoin or whatever, but then come use the real system, right? But then this whole Bitcoin civil war, and now there's 22,000 blockchains, and there's just all this nonsense now. And my really genuine concern is that all of these ideas, all the truly great Bitcoin ideas don't work unless or until Bitcoin is the monolith on which everything is occurring. So like Boost is a great example where, yes, if all data was on the same blockchain, then you could filter that information and use Boost to pick the best ideas. But we have added silos by having Ethereum and all the other that is now data not on Bitcoin. And then so now that data is itself, it has some price and people are using it and whatever else. But now how do we get everything to reconsolidate into Bitcoin for this to be a valuable concept? Because I feel like it's not a valuable concept until we get there. Do you have a thought on that?
Like, okay, well, yeah, let me, good. This is actually like something that you told to me in a private message earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah, do want to go over that. So what you said is that there's a network effect with proof of work, and it needs to have lots of people using it, but that is not really true. And I would say that what I am offering people is a group that will genuinely care about you. And so, like last time I was with you on the stream, I talked about how the use of one money makes people relate to one another like siblings, because they're invested in one another in the same way.
Sure.
So there is, if people are using the same money, then they have a desire to promote each other's success. And so what we have with Pow.co or with sites that are using the Boost Pow protocol is we have a way for people to actually act on the desire to promote each other's success. So it's not something that needs lots of people. It's something it's something that's good even if there's a small number of people. I mean, it's like having a family. You know, those are good if there's only a few people, but it's also something that can be a lot bigger than a typical family. But if you join it now, it's more like a regular size family.
Sure.
But you want to get in early because you benefit more the earlier you get in, if it grows. But you know, a small group of people that all want you to succeed is better than no group like that, and it's better if it gets bigger. So I don't think that there's a problem there. And so as far as like the altcoins, like I would say that each of these coins is like a cooperative system. Just like how any form of money is a tool for cooperation. And so the way that we in Bitcoin SV are competing with all of these other altcoins is by being better cooperators with each other. And so we have to do a better job growing the economy than the other guys do, which we certainly can, because none of their coins actually work or are actually good as money. So effectively, they cannot have economic growth. But in order to actually win, we need to actually have economic growth.
Sure.
And so that's what using proof of work is for. It's what it's good for. It's good for figuring out what is the best idea for maximizing growth.
Yep. Brilliant. Let's transition here. Alex, if you want to add your screen to the stream. All right, here is Powco. Alex, can you log in? Let's walk through this whole process. Logging in.
So it looks like Alex was able to log in just fine, and so that's great. And I'm not sure what it looks like. He's using Firefox, or is he?
Is it Brave? I like the purple. It's Chrome. It's Chrome. All right.
Oh, okay, yeah, that explains it. It's so yeah. Well, so Chrome is actually the easiest browser to use that I know of right now.
Cool.
There's a problem with using RelayX as the wallet provider, and that has to do with our security requirements. But basically, basically RelayX gives you control over your wallet, and you're the one who has the private keys. Now the problem is that the app, you don't want to just give the app control over your private keys. Right. So consequently, well, we just end up with this problem where you have to disable block cross-site tracking between RelayX and Powco or whatever other website you're using with RelayX. And this has been a big problem for just getting people to use the site.
It's been an issue for a few wallets for a lot of years. Just to really make it work well, you got to disable cross-site.
Well, we're going to solve this by creating a browser extension. So that's one solution, and I think the ideal answer would be to support a couple of different wallets, like we could have Handcash or something, but we don't really have the resources to do that. So we are supporting RelayX, and that is it for now. And the reason we're going with RelayX instead of Handcash is that Boost Pow is for the entrepreneurs. So it's for people who actually understand how to do things. The ideal users for Boost Power, there's three classes of people that we're looking for. We're looking for entrepreneurs, self-actualizers, and the Nietzschean Superman. And those are the kind of people that are going to want to use this site. And so if you're one of those, you can figure out how to disable cross-site track, or how to disable prevent cross-site tracking. And but yeah, eventually things will work a lot better, but that's just a requirement.
Totally
for now.
fair. So is it? Are we in a position where this can work then, or do we need to walk through the cross-site tracking?
Well, if we were on Firefox or Brave browser, then we'd have to do that. But just so people know, if it doesn't work for you, that's what you need to do.
Cool.
So now let's go to that little date at the top. And so this says, what is our cutoff? So what we're looking at now is the proof of work for the last day, but you can look farther back, and then it's kind of like what's been going on for the last month, or however far back you want to go. So I was going to suggest looking back about the next month or so, and then you kind of get more of an idea about what's been going on. Okay, yeah, since December, 2 months, great, and we'll get to see everything that's been happening since then, and that'll just give you more of a long-term perspective. And so you can check the website however often you want. You just want to look back to the last day, however often you check it. So let's just go back up to the top, and I'll discuss some of these things. So that top item is an old boost, or no, it's a twitch, but it must be old, because back when I first started doing this, we thought we would be able to get to ASIC mining a lot more quickly.
Yeah.
And so there are all these really, really high difficulty boosts that we're just gradually getting through now. So yeah, I was doing a different company a while back, and we made some progress on boost, and then that all fell apart. So I kind of had to start over. So we've been gradually getting through old stuff. And so the top boosted item, this was
sitting as like an unconfirmed boost for years, or what?
Yes, that's probably a couple years old. And it seems to be a twitch, but I'm not. Apparently, if you were to look up that item on Twitch, there's probably going to be a picture or something, but we don't render pictures yet. So It'd be good if you could just go to Twitch and go to that that TXID so that we could actually see it.
We're gonna dox Alex.
Okay,
he's gonna be in some soccer account to Twitch.
We don't have to do that. That's fine. But maybe you can post the TXID to I don't know, in chat or something, so that people could go and look at it.
I think he's logging in. I think we're gonna figure it out. So actually, that raises an interesting question about ASIC mining and high difficulty boosts. When you post a boost or post something to be boosted, is there a monetary gain for the miner? I'm sitting here thinking, hey man, I'd throw an ASIC at just boost if we can mine a bunch of stuff that's been sitting there. Is there a what's my gain if I mine a bunch of boosts?
Yeah, it's a bounty system. So yeah, why don't we just try it? I mean, you can try boosting something.
Yeah.
And right now we are having technical difficulties too, so it won't actually work.
Yeah.
But try again in a couple of days. But you can actually get an idea of what would happen. So you can do a one click, and that will make like a default boost. But click and hold. Yeah. See, it's not. See, this is about the worst thing that could happen. Okay, here we go. So here's Super Boost. That lets you define some of the parameters. So you choose a difficulty and you choose a number of satoshis, and then you make the boost. And so basically, if you're paying less, then it gets done more slowly because it's it's less profitable. But if you choose more, then it gets done more quickly.
Let's do a big one, Alex. We can expense this to CoinGeek. Let's spend the 10 cents.
Well, you don't have to expense anything because it won't actually make the boost. Perfect. Right now. But so this next item is a really great article that somebody I know wrote a while back that I would recommend reading. And we're back to looking at the last day of Boost. So anyway, so that would be a good thing. Good thing to fix. This is something I've been talking about for a while. Is we need the dates to be part of URL parameters so that it's easy to pass them around. But whatever, it's fine. It's fine. So let's look at the next question, because the next one is really, really important. That's from somebody who really understands how to use Boost. Could you scroll down a little? Let's go to just the next one, the very next thing. Let's go there.
Ask Bitcoin.
And this is on Ask Bitcoin. So why don't we go look at that since this has come up? If you just scroll to Ask Bitcoin AI, we'll go to the website. So askbitcoin.com is a Quora-like page where people ask questions and they answer them. So this one is about what? Let's go to the link there because it looks nice. So this is basically an advertisement, and he is saying Black is saying that he is going to produce features for Club Relay for certain amounts of BSV. So he is offering features for bounties. And so the reason that I like this is that he knows exactly how to use Boost Pow. So, so he's telling us important information, and he's using it to develop the product. So to me, this is like a great way of using Boost.
Absolutely. Oh, and interesting stuff there too. Like the bounties that he's putting out there they look good.
So let's scroll down a little more and we'll look at item number 3. That's a Twitch, which once again, it's probably got a picture on it, and that's something that doesn't work yet, displaying pictures. So you would have to actually look at it on Twitch to see what it is. Another Twitch. NGL, it's awesome seeing BSB NFTs tank after mint and the infighting and the declining user base clean house. Okay.
Nice guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here's a great one. Wait, let's look at this one. So this is the most important idea that has been built for using Boost right now. So I want you to click on this, and it goes to a GitHub issue. So what we have working now is if you have the Powco.dev bot installed on your GitHub, it will automatically reference issues for your GitHub project on chain, and then you can boost them. And so can you scroll down on this? So this issue was made before the Boost Pow bot started replying to issues. So can you just go back to issues? This is askbitcoin.ai issues. Just go to issues, please, and just pick the latest one. Yeah, let's just look at the latest issue. Okay, so now let's look at the Powco dev bot reply. So it says, so there's a link for boosting it, and there is an address for providing a bounty. So this bounty will be collected when the issue is resolved. So
this is cool.
This is definitely the best idea for using Boost that anybody's come up with yet, and this was made by Stephen, who's another founder of Powco.
Nice.
And it's a really simple idea, but
a really good way to prioritize issues in general. Which actually, now that I think about it, it's funny. We were talking with the Gorilla Pool Jungle Labs team about, hey, we've got like 90 things that we want to build. Who wants to sort them in the order that they should be done? So
okay, yeah. So you need to install the Powco dev bot. So what we do in our daily stand-up meetings is we just look at Pow.co for the last day, and we just talk about whatever is there. And whatever issue is boosted highest is usually the one that gets done.
Yeah.
And yeah, so all of our meetings are enjoyable and don't waste any time. So have you ever had a meeting where people just talked about nothing for a long time?
I have a pair of socks that I used to wear to meetings when I worked in corporate, and the socks said up the side, "This meeting should have been an email."
Yeah. Okay. Well, so what I'm doing solves that problem, because you just say the agenda of the meeting is whatever gets boosted, and if as long as you are conscientious and you don't let people get away with going outside of that agenda, then every meeting is good and short, and people only talk about things that are important. And we've been looking into ideas for how to use Boost directly in the meeting itself, but there's kind of a problem with that, which is that it's not really real time right at the moment. Well, and of course, if you boost anything, it's going to take time. I mean, there's just kind of a trade-off between the bounty and time. So we're not quite sure how we're going to use Boost right during the meeting at this point, but if you just say the agenda is the top boosted content, then people set the agenda before the meeting starts, and there you go.
Let me play devil's advocate real quick. Let's say I am a competitor to your company, and I am aware that you are doing such a thing, and then I spend my time boosting the things that you shouldn't be focusing on as a means of sabotage. Is this possible? How do we stop this?
Okay, yeah. So my answer to that is that you should also mine Boost, so that then you're happy if somebody tries that because you're making money off of it.
Yes.
And you should also be happy because they are actually better off using the system to figure out what they should talk about at their own meetings. So they may be capable of disrupting your meeting to a certain extent, but you should be happy if they do that, because you know that they are actually disrupting their own meetings to an even worse extent, because they're not using the system to figure out what they need to talk about.
Interesting. All right. I like it. It's optimistic.
No, that's just how it works.
Well, sure, but it reminds me of like I think it was Nikita Khrushchev saying something like, we'll never conquer the U.S. with bullets, but they'll become a communist nation anyway. This is a terrible paraphrase of whatever he said, but essentially that trying to subvert us will turn them into communists anyways.
Okay, wait a minute now, but the problem is that he didn't have boost POW. So just think about if we had boost POW when we were doing Cold War, there would have been no nuclear proliferation, because people would be like, let's just use boost instead of nukes, because that's a better costly signal. And people say like, oh, it was a good idea for the USA to build all these nukes, because then that ended up destroying the Russian economy because they couldn't build nukes as fast. So if you use boost POW for that, then there would have been no nukes, and we would have achieved the same thing a lot more efficiently. So nations should use boost POW for cold wars, and there doesn't need to be any real wars, because now they all know exactly how powerful their economies all are. So they're not going to I mean, this is just what happens with deer. That's kind of the point of the antlers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like there's literally no conflicts between the male deer, but what the antlers do is they reduce the likelihood of conflicts, because it's very easy to tell when somebody is stronger than you. Yeah. And so then you don't have to fight if you already know that. See?
Sure.
So, and if Khrushchev had to use boost to infiltrate the USA communication system, then he would have destroyed his own economy before he could have indoctrinated everybody with communist propaganda. So it's a good example. But
I'm picturing like Russian generals in their uniforms in some bunker, like sitting on their laptops, like trying to social engineer the boost economy. There's this guy in Washington, D.C. who's been outside the White House for, I don't know, 40 years or something, in like a little hut protesting nuclear proliferation. And I want to say he's Jamaican. He's a dreadlocked gentleman, the whole thing. But he literally lives in this handmade, I forget what you even call it, but it's like tent city kind of house, right? And he's been out there in front of the White House since the 80s and basically saying end nuclear warfare now. So I feel like there's a marketing opportunity to get him a sign that says use boost, not nukes. And,
okay, well, he'll probably have to figure out how to use it himself before he'll be able to say that it's a good idea. But using proof of work is the best way for capitalism to compete against communism. Yeah.
Well, and it's warfare, and but it's not, no bullets, right? Like to mine Bitcoin and to use proof of work to fight for the state of the most honest ledger, or I think I phrased that a little bit backwards, but yes, it is a form of peaceful warfare, essentially, that we're willing to expel energy in order to defend this system. So
yeah, exactly. And I would say it's potential warfare. It's like a threat. And I think Craig Wright sometimes gets frustrated by the fact that people don't respond to his threats in the way that he would like them to. Yeah. So he should be using boost POW to convince people that he would be able to defeat them in the legal arena. But what he does is he makes threats, but because it doesn't have proof of work attached to them, people don't believe them. So the only way to make them believable is to actually defeat lots of people until they start to think that they're not going to win because of that. See?
So, and I agree with you conceptually. Again, like I've always loved these concepts, but as I look at, it's the same kind of thing. How do you convince? And I love your family analogy because it really is that. And BSV, in many ways, is like having a family, and so too is the people that are more interested. It's like the same people that use some of these open protocol standards that we've been talking about for years, and some of these other things. And you put yourself in families of companies, or companies and brands and wallets and things that cooperate with each other. And we've seen this a little bit with like the hand cash people cooperate with the asset layer people and the Haste arcades and all of that. And then you see the people who cooperate with the Twitch ecosystem, and then you see the guys who cooperate in this ecosystem with RelayX and MAP and Bitcoin Schema and some of these other things that are going on over here. But again, like my concern is while the fact that we don't want lots of information, we want good information, but that also keeps a small circle. How then does someone, like in your example, how does Craig's threat make it get to the point where you can say that Craig, this lawsuit is more likely to be successful, or this threat is a real threat because it has a certain amount of proof of work? Like, does it matter that nobody else knows what we're talking about? Because that's my concern here, is that it's a little too ethereal, and then the value is stuck in the 50 people that think that this is awesome, of which I am one.
Okay. No, I have an answer for that. So let's go back to deer. There they are. So the reason that antlers evolved, and that the reason they became universal in the population, is that the deer who had antlers were better off than the deer who didn't. Okay. So like, think of what I just said before. Like if we're talking about, let's say we're talking about two kinds of deer, and one of them doesn't have antlers and the other one does, the ones who don't are going to be killing each other a lot more, because they're not going to have the ability to avoid getting into physical fights. And so they are hurting themselves with their lack of antlers. So that's how you win. You just use it. You just use it to be better off than the other people, and just let them all die.
So
just have more children than the guys who don't know how to use Boost Pow. It's the answer. That's how we win. Okay.
Alex Vidal, if you're watching this, that's the clip for this for remarketing this episode. So it's funny because this is true, and I know this to be true from experience. So I've been in mixed martial arts for years. I'm joined a tough MMA team and do jiu-jitsu and stuff. And there is a truth to this. So when we go out to a bar or something, occasionally after class or whatever, we'll go out as a team. Sometimes we'll go out and watch like the UFC fights. So we'll go out as a team, and you hear the people who are clearly not fighters talking about, oh, here's how I would beat, this UFC champion or whatever. And you see them bicker. You see them start fights with, among each other or between the tables. But our table is always the least likely to get into a fight, because we know, hey, if hands start flying, we're going to end this very quickly. We have no qualms about whether or not we're the alphas at this location. So it is a very astute analogy. Essentially, we have hidden antlers is what I'm saying.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, it's like you know each other. So you know that you can each fight because you have experience with each other.
Yeah.
So the difference with antlers is that then other people will know that you can fight even if they don't know you, even if they're just looking at you for the first time. Yeah. So that's the difference.
Brilliant. So we got a question here. Brandon Bryant, one of my favorite people, actually. Boost Pow is like an extreme version of Austrian economics, ? Where Austrians are usually right, but only in the long run. See, so he's saying what I keep saying. It's I've been a libertarian activist for 20 years. And it's like, I feel like our group of ideas haven't grown in those 20 years. It's still the same rough percentage of people all debating about the right way to implement libertarian stuff. Is that a problem, or is it ever a problem? Does it need to grow out of that?
I think, I think growth would be great, and I think we're going to be able to get growth. But I think it's great how it is now. I mean, to me, like everybody should want what we're offering now, and not have to worry about growth. But yeah, let's talk about libertarians, because I figured out what's wrong with libertarians, and they're basically so like our society is like a big farm, and the good guys are like the farm animals, and then the elites are like the farmer. Okay.
Sure.
And what the libertarians have been saying is that this is really a predator-prey relationship.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who can see the truth, and other people think that the farmer is out to help them or do good things for them.
Yeah.
And so what we need are people who actually want to live like this is a predator-prey relationship. And the libertarians are like people who will say that, but they won't live that way. They're saying, like, I'm not going to do anything until we get rid of the predator. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. But I think that you can be like someone who's you can be as free as possible within the current constraints, and I think the way that you do that is you become an entrepreneur, and that's sort of like that's when you're going into the unknown, and you're living off of your own wits.
Yeah.
So that's like turning into a wild animal. Like if you're an employee, then you're more like the farm animal, and if you're the entrepreneur, then you're going out of the farm and you're more like the wild animal. I just
had this whole conversation. I was on a Monero space, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or something, and so the exact same thing, that libertarians are great in theory, but then they live like socialists. And then that the real way to make people libertarians is to make more people into entrepreneurs, because it's like it's great to be the theorist on the farm, but you're still getting fed by the farmer every day, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about Powstream. Yes, so, Powstream, let's look at the website.
Let's do it, Mr. Moon.
Powstream.com. It's very simple. It's what do they call it? It's an overlay on top of YouTube. So it just shows, you just view YouTube videos with it, and there's a boost button that's added. So these are the top boosted items today, and it looks like there have been why don't you go to last week, because these are videos that have been indexed, but none of them have boost on them. So whenever you watch a video, so not much has been going on this site recently, and we don't have a way to look at like last month or anything like that. But these are the boosted videos, and so anytime you watch a video on Powstream, it gets indexed on the blockchain, and there's a boost button next to it. And so at pow.co, you can boost any URL, and it works kind of the same way. It just indexes the URL, and then we try to display what it is. So I think I think this is another site that's more like a demo for Boost Pow.
Can we click all time boosted?
Oh yeah, all time. Oh yeah, great. That's better. Yeah, let's do that. And that'll these are the top boosted videos, nice. And I really recommend that one. Don't reward yourself. That one has been really interesting. We've been going back to that one a lot.
Yeah.
And so there's some yoga, and then there's the Soviet cartoon version of the Nutcracker, which is a great cartoon that I'd recommend. And nice. Then the next one, I don't know what that is. It looks like some music. But basically, that's what's going on here.
Yeah, so far, no Kurt content boosted anywhere, guys. So thank you.
You know what? There's a question on askbitcoin.ai which says, what should Kurt Wuckert see when Daniel does his CoinGeek Weekly Livestream? So, and we concluded that the best possible content would be Kurt Wuckert content. But then, unfortunately, we just had this power outage, so I haven't been able to boost anything. But for the record, my plan was that you would see Kurt Wuckert content when you looked at this.
Glad to hear it. Always stroke the host's ego.
So, just for the audience, for future reference, if you want to, get people to be interested in Boost Pow, you should make sure that they see themselves when they look at the site. So do as I say, not as I do.
Yes. Brilliant. Let's do a couple questions here. We got like 3.5 minutes left. Brett Bamfy asking Daniel, can you expand on the idea that an economy and a small world network only needs 3 participants because we can always trade with each other even if others don't understand?
Well, I'm not sure the answer to that one. And there was an earlier question that I didn't even really get to addressing, but if I think it has to do with collusion. So if the top 2 people try to collude and say they're gonna try to have a secret agreement, then the third one has an advantage that he can use against them.
Yep. I like it. Any other, let's bang through a couple questions here. Is a boost limited to a static text quote pick? I'll add to it link or whatever else.
Boost is limited to any TX ID. And if something is boosted to the top that is not displayed correctly, then that's how it becomes our priority to figure out how to display it. So if you want us to show some particular kind of content, just boost it to the top. And of course, a TX ID, that really can be anything. So right now we have this feature on Powco where you can boost any link, and that creates a TX that indexes the link, and then you're boosting the TX ID, and then when we display that, we just display the link.
Sure.
So it's for boosting anything, and eventually I would want it to be able to display anything that anybody would ever want to talk about, but it's kind of a lot, so we haven't been able to get quite to that point yet.
Would you say this is a sort of billboard type app where people can post stuff for a fee that they want to get out there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, so let's go back to powco.dev for a minute. So, because that answers a big question that I've had with a lot of people. So people say, like, why shouldn't I get paid for posting my content? I mean, why would I want to pay to post my content instead of the other way around? So I think that the use of GitHub issues pretty much explains why that works that way. It's because you just want the software to work. So you want to explain this bug that you found, and you wouldn't say, like, I want people to pay me for accessing my GitHub issue. That's just kind of crazy. You would just want people to know about the issue. And that's not saying that you wouldn't want to have some kind of bounty system for finding bugs. But, if you want to tell people that there's a bounty system for finding bugs, then, well, of course, if you have that, then it's agreed upon beforehand. It's not like you make the issue and then people like the issue and to get you money for it. Then there would be some set price for it beforehand. But if you want people to know there's a bounty system, then you have to boost it. So otherwise, how do they know? But yeah, it's a billboard, and there's competition to get to the top slots, and it's a totally fair competition that cannot be exploited. And it's the only thing that would actually make you think that the information was going to be good.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, you can segment. You can do that already because we have tags. So we should take a look at that. So right now on the website, there's a section at the top for tags. And of course, we also segment the content by the website. So we can go to Ask Bitcoin, and then we only look at the questions and answers. So here's some tags, and these are they are organized by total difficulty at all time. So well, there they are. You can. So does it let you click on them and let you look at the content? It looks like it's just a list. So this is the content that's tagged USA, and I'm not sure what that is, but if you want to see it, just boost it to
propaganda. Yeah. So Daniel, I'm so sorry. I know I started late, but I actually have to leave roughly on time because I have a call that I cannot miss. Do you have a closing thought, like 30 seconds to wrap it up, or should we follow you to learn more about this? Where should we join? What do we do, Daniel?
Yeah, well, yeah, let me just follow the top content on Pow.co. And we are looking for all of the entrepreneurs to do this. And well, we've had kind of anybody if you think you know what's going on, just watch the top content in Pow.co. And we also have a daily meeting. And in order to attend the meeting, you are required to have 100 Powco tokens. So that's not the cost of the meeting. You just have to have it. So once you have them, we don't take them back. You can just attend all of our meetings, and that's just so if you're interested in doing more, you can join our daily meeting. And so Kurt, I would like you to join our daily meeting, but anybody who thinks they know what's going on and has ideas on how to grow the economy, that would be great. But if it costs too much for you to join the meeting, you really just need the website. Just use the top content and Pow.co. And well, now that's it. I guess there's one point, I guess. So Boost is really better for earlier stages of production. So this is just something I found when I try to talk to people about this is people say, like, how do I incorporate Boost into my app? So that's kind of like a later stage of production. Like, what would be better is saying, like, what app should I build? Like, that's an earlier stage of production. So it's better if you want to use Boost for that. So what we need is all of the entrepreneurs to just start using Boost now, and then we can figure out how to grow the economy the most. Basically, my message is just use it. Just use what you have now. Don't delay, because you get more out of it the earlier you start using it.
Brilliant. Great advice. Daniel, you look great, by the way. You look well, so I'm glad to see you. Just the haircut, and I like the goatee. You look good. So it's good.
Thank you.
To see you. So Daniel, thanks so much for coming on. I have to run, and for everybody watching, please follow Daniel across all social media and check out Pow.co. This is an important mission. I like to grapple with it mostly because I want to hear Daniel debate me so that you can learn about it. But please check these things out. Give it a whirl. And he's right. If you're early and this idea is a great idea, well, puts you ahead in the race. So thanks again, everybody. This has been the CoinGeek Weekly Livestream. I'm Kurt Wuckert Jr. reminding you always, 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 and again and again and again, to be good to each other. Take care and goodbye.